Hello guys, today we're making proper Uzbek samsa. I will be baking and you will be watching and enjoying. This is going to be more or less full tutorial, so I expect the video to be a bit lengthy, but as I always say, it's a bit worky, but it's worthy. So, first things first, so I'm going to have my apron on and I'll move to my working surface, which is there where all the mess happens. And if you're ready, let's get it started. Now, Uzbek samsa is multi-layered. For samsa, we need to make a very tough dough. Now, you have two options with the dough. You can do it with the cold water, or you could use lukewarm water. There's really not a lot of difference between the two, but I have to admit it's much more pleasant to work with the room temperature dough, although it is summer now and the cold dough is not a big deal. So our dough needs a good 7 to 10 minute kneading. More kneaded it is, more elastic it is, the more easier it is to spread it later. So do not ignore it and do give attention to this point. As you can see, I'm not using a lot of water. I am going to try to use all the flour that it is around the dough already. It really doesn't matter where you're going to knead it. You can remove it and keep it on a working surface, as I am doing here, or you can go ahead and continue doing it in the bowl. It really doesn't matter, as long as you get into that nice, well incorporated and smooth consistency dough. Our dough is ready. We are going to cover it with the kitchen plastic and set it aside for a few hours to rest. While our dough is resting, we are going to go ahead and start our filling. Uzbek proper samsa is always made with the cut meat. We are not going to process it through the mincer, we are going to cut it into small pieces ourselves. And the most proper cutting board for the meat is a wooden one. Before I start my meat, I am going to sharpen my knife. I have a special knife sharpener, but I like to do it all the way. I sharpen my knives against the bottom of the clay cups. Works every time. Let's now go ahead and start cutting our meat. You want your meat to be as fine and thin as possible, but you don't have to be too fanatic about it. We very much like somsa and it's always welcome. So I'm doing half a kilo of meat, and to this I'm going to be using almost half a kilo of onions. As you can see in the video, I have two very big onions and both of them are going to make half a kilo. So my meat is done and I'm now going to go ahead and do my onions. I'm going to peel them off first, and before using the onions I always wash them. As a matter of fact, I wash everything before I use even the eggs. So my onions are washed and they are ready for cutting. I will show you a few tricks to cut the onion. We are trying to make it as fine as possible, but again, the same with the meat, you don't have to be very fanatic about it. When you are doing the onions, you have to be very careful with your hands, especially if your knife is very sharp. You try to aim to hit the second joint of your fingers, starting from the tip of the finger. And try not to keep the onion with your fingers stretched full, as it's shown in the video. Here I'm demonstrating 3 ways of cutting the onions, so you go ahead with the one that suits you best. So our onions are ready, and now we are going to mix them with the meat. We are going to start off with an onions, and we're going to give it a nice but gentle squeeze, just to let a little bit of juice out, because our onions, and especially the juice of it, is working as the marinating agent for the meat. And now that our onions are done, we are going to mix it with the meat. And again, we are going to mix them very well so that they're nicely incorporated. Just to make sure that everything is well incorporated. Sometimes it happens that you will have some onion in the bottom. And then the spices, of course, salt and pepper, and Uzbek samsa will always have cumin. I'm using cumin powder just to ensure that you are not going to have some cumin in between your teeth. I'm way too practical sometimes, you know. Mix it well again, and then you again cover it with the kitchen plastic and set it aside, and in the meantime we are going to do our dough. Now I have limited working surface, that's why I'll have to cut my dough into 3, and I'll shape round bowls out of the dough. I will apply flour generously to prevent them from sticking onto each other. And I start with the first one. Here we go. This is quite an entertaining process to watch, but I wish I could say the same about the job. One thing I will tell you about the dough is that the dough loves confidence. You have to handle it confidently, just show the dough who is the boss here. And you are aiming to be spreading only the sides. No need to touch the center, just work the sides. I keep rolling and rolling, rolling and rolling, spreading and spreading, and flouring it every now and then to prevent it from sticking onto each other. So this is what the process looks like. The dough is getting bigger. I hope I will be able to handle it just in this roller. I can see now that my roller is going to go very small with it very soon. Now, to fasten the process, I'm going to fold the dough into 3, and I keep rolling it. But again, this is totally optional, and yeah, I would imagine it would take a bit of confidence, but I'm not afraid of the dough, and as a matter of fact, I even like it. I even like working with the dough. So we spread it thinly until it's almost a few millimeters thin, and you can see that I'm almost done here. I give it the last few rounds so that it eats all the flour that is on it. Yeah, like this. And that's about it, and you can see that it's well over my roller. And that's about it. And I'm just gonna fold it into 3/4, set it aside, and I'm going to do the same with the rest of my dough. Once my dough is done, I'm going to spread ghee butter on the dough. Now, ghee butter is also alternatively called as clarified butter. Basically, you boil the water or you heat it up, and then you remove the white milk solids. Make sure to apply the oil or the butter very evenly. That's going to affect the quality of the samsa later. Now I'm almost done with my first layer, and I'm going to go ahead and apply my second layer on it. As I said, this is all because I have way too small working surface. Otherwise I would have done just one dough and it would be that would be sufficient. So I do the same with my second one. I spread my butter, and I will do the same with my third layer. As much as possible, I get out the bubbles or the air which is in between the layers, and apply the butter to the rest of it. So I'm done buttering my dough, my layers, and I start rolling it into a snake. At the moment it's a snake, then we are going to turn it into a snail. So the roll is ready, we're going to turn it into a snail, and we are going to keep it in the fridge for a few hours to rest. That's it. So my dough has been in the fridge for 4 hours and it's now ready to work with. I am going to cut it into small cubes like this. It's about 3 centimeters. And then with my warm hands, I'm going to press it just as shown in the video. And I hope I can show it on the video, the layers. The layers are really centered. You all have them in the center. And now it's time to roll it. As you can see on the video, you try to keep the center intact and you work with the sides, only with the edges. Yeah, as much as possible, keep the center intact, so that you can later see all the layers as if they're all starting to form or they're taking their root from the center. Yeah, as you can see, the dough is very nice and very good. You don't need any flour or anything like this. Here I'll try to show you the center and you can see the print. I hope you do see the print. And you turn the dough over, put the filling in the center, and here is how you form traditional Uzbek triangle somsa. Yeah. You turn it over and you are going to have those nice layers in the center of the somsa. And you do the same with the rest of it. Let's make this a round one, a round somsa. Basically, working with the dough is the same. Again, you put the filling in the center, and this is how you collect the edges. Just get the edges together, stitch them firmly, and that's it. Our samsas are ready, and now we're going to apply some egg wash to give them some nice shiny glaze. For decoration, I'm using roasted sesame seeds. Now the best decoration for samsa is black seeds, and they're also called nigella seeds. But I have to mention that the decoration is totally optional. We bake our samsas half an hour at preheated 290-degree oven. Moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Our samsas are ready. They've been baking for 30 minutes and look how gorgeous they look. They're really glazy and they're shiny, and they're very, very crispy from the outside and very juicy from the inside. I'm very, very happy with the way they look and with the way they taste. They're absolutely gorgeous. You can see how nicely they're baked from the inside and really layery, almost falling apart from the outside. And the round ones are unbelievably juicy. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked the tutorial. Do give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I hope to see you in my next videos. By the way, I post new videos twice a week, so do subscribe for more original recipes and tutorials like this. Until then, thanks for watching, and I see you next time.